What is a drug? A drug, by definition, is a substance that can change someone's physical or mental state. Now, when I think of drugs, I think of alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, meth. But according to a recent poll, only about 13.5% of Americans have used those sort of drugs within 30 days of the poll. Now, I'm sure that varies per city. Portland, Seattle, probably a little higher on the meth cocaine area than other cities. However, the most popular drug in America, that over 94% of Americans say they use every single day, is a drug that not many people even consider a drug. And because of this, they don't know how it really affects the body or what it can do to you when abused. And that drug is caffeine. So quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not an endocrinologist, I'm not a medical professional in any way. However, this is a topic that has interested me for a long time, and I've spent many hours studying it. And I figured I just want to put out my findings and my research into a video format for you guys to learn from. I highly encourage you guys to check my information, study this topic for yourself, but I also encourage you guys to kick back and hopefully learn something from this video. So let's get into it. What is caffeine and how does it affect the body? Caffeine is a central nervous system or CNS stimulant. It's found naturally occurring in green teas, in coffee beans, in cocoa leaves, and also in guarana seeds. However, it is also synthetically made in labs, but we're not going to get into that type of caffeine because it is technically a different caffeine. We are going to focus on the naturally occurring caffeine in this video. Now, as we've stated before, it is a drug. It is in the methylxanthine class. Other drugs in that class are used to treat illnesses that typically have to do with the respiratory system, such as asthma and bronchitis. So how does caffeine really work? First, you need to know of a neurotransmitter called adenosine. Adenosine binds with brain cell receptors and kind of slows them down, bogs them down. Think of like adenosine as like a heavy weight, and it binds with them, slows them down, and then that causes that tired feeling in your body. That's very important because it helps regulate your sleep schedule. So having that adenosine in your body is going to get what makes you feel tired consistently at a regular time every day. Now that's very important because that helps with your REM sleep. So if you're low on adenosine, as we'll get into later in the video, it messes with your sleep schedule. Now, it also helps regulate a heart rhythm. So your heartbeat is beating on a rhythm, hopefully. Now, as we all know, irregular heartbeats is a dangerous thing or can be a dangerous thing. And adenosine helps regulate that. And in many drugs, adenosine is in them that helps keep that heartbeat beating consistently. Now, this is where adenosine ties into caffeine. So the chemical compound structure of adenosine and caffeine, very similar. Because of that, caffeine can bind with those same brain cell receptors as adenosine, but instead of weighing them down, think of caffeine being much lighter, blowing up a balloon. Instead of filling it up with, just blowing it up with air, use helium, speeds it up, raises it up more, right? So that's basically what caffeine does to these brain cell receptors. Let's quickly go over the effects of low adenosine. So as we touched on before, it's going to give you a more irregular sleep pattern, which is a dangerous thing because when you don't sleep consistently at a consistent time, it's going to limit your REM sleep cycle. That's vitally important in recovery and many other things that we're not going to get into in this video, but then adenosine is a vital part of that. Now, it also helps with your immune system. So low adenosine is going to make you more vulnerable to respiratory illnesses. So let's dive into the big claim first. Does caffeine give you energy? Many energy drink brands, pre-workout brands tell you that, it's going to give you the most energy, it's going to get you wired. But let's really dive into that. So in reference to the human body, there are only three sources of energy, right? That is carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. Now, caffeine doesn't fit into any of those categories. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably fall under the category of ingested caffeine at some point in your life. So I'm not going to deny the fact that you do feel it, especially when you take a large amount of caffeine, such as upwards of 300 milligrams. Your heart starts pounding, you start breathing really fast, you get kind of jittery. But is that the caffeine and the energy that it's giving you, or is that something else? So it's actually adrenaline. So the caffeine triggers a stress response in the body, which releases then stress hormones, one of those being adrenaline. Brown University did a study and says it best here, I'm going to read it. Caffeine causes neural excitation in the brain, which the pituitary gland perceives as an emergency and stimulates the adrenal glands to release adrenaline. So let's get into another stress hormone that is released. So just like how adrenaline is released into the body from a stress-triggered response, there's another stress hormone released called cortisol. Now, cortisol helps balance out your glucose levels. And so when you have an increased release of cortisol in the body, is going to increase the glucose, which is another form or another word for sugar, into the bloodstream, which then, wait for it, does give you very short-term energy. So let's sum it up real quick. While caffeine doesn't directly give you energy, it does trigger a stress response in the human body that releases stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which do provide short-term energy. Now, it's not meant to be a long-term option, so if you're training for 3-4 hours, which not many people do, I get, however, it's not going to last that whole time. But with that said, an abuse of caffeine does lower your adenosine levels, which is a vital neurotransmitter that your body needs to regulate sleep, heart rhythm, and maintain a healthy immune system. Let's go over some pluses and minuses of caffeine. Now, I'm not anti-caffeine, right? This whole entire research and editing and filming of this video was done on some sort of caffeine, whether that be tea or coffee. However, like most drugs, not all drugs, there's a few that we're excluding this, but like most drugs, when used to a proper extent, there's not side effects, or not many. But when abused, there are an astronomical number of side effects. I'm going to read a few off here. I'm just going to go rapid fire through real quick. So dehydration, thinning of bones, anxiety, insomnia, irregular heartbeats, increase in stomach acidity, just to name a few. Now, doesn't mean you're going to get all of these when you abuse caffeine, but you probably will get some of them. I mean, we've all experienced the, dry scoop some pre-workout, run it down with an energy drink, then 5 minutes later you're in the bathroom in some pain, right? I feel like I'm not alone there. But that is an increase in stomach acidity as well as a bunch of chemicals, not agreeing with you. However, we've all experienced the side effects. We just need to know what is a safe amount to use, when to use it, and even if there's a better option. So I did a little study through my Instagram. I put out a poll. I'm going to read some stats off here. So according to my Instagram followers, 63% of them intake caffeine on a regular basis, so such as every day. 37% of them partaking in energy drinks, 35% in coffee and tea, and 21% being in pre-workout. Now, typically, if you're taking pre-workout, you're going to work out. And in my case, and in many other cases, when you drink an energy drink, you use it as a form of pre-workout. So we combine the percentage of people that take pre-workout and energy drinks. All people, I assume they're all trying to get some sort of energy from it, okay? That comes out to about 58% of the people that follow me on Instagram take caffeine as a form of pre-workout. Now, does it work? Sure. We went into all the details of it. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's crazy popular. But is there a healthier, safer version? Yes, 100%. And I'm going to get into that now. So there's a reason why I've completely stopped taking pre-workout and any sort of energy drinks. It's because they're not meant to be a long-term solution. They're very unhealthy for the body, and I'm going to dive into that in another video. But my favorite form of pre-workout is this: an apple. Slice it up, throw in a bag, sprinkle some cinnamon, shake it up, eat it on my way to the gym. A small apple gives you about 25 grams of carbs and about 19 grams of natural occurring sugars. Okay, natural part's huge, and that is going to carbs equal glucose, sugars equal glucose. So that gives you a massive spike of glucose in the bloodstream that's going to last longer because it's naturally occurring and not synthetically made. Also is going to limit the crash afterwards. We've all had it when we take a bunch of caffeine and then you get that crash. You don't get that when you eat natural foods, natural products, and use that as a form of pre-workout. Now, I get it. Not everyone likes apples. Any form of fruit is great. Also, berries. Any sort of berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. I love pineapple. Apples are, like I said, are my favorite. Taking those before you go to the gym is actually going to give you energy because it falls into the 3 forms of energy: carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. It falls under the carbohydrates part. Great source of energy. Longer lasting, it's going to feel better for longer, and it's going to help your body out so much. So, as we know, in the fitness industry, tons of pre-workouts, tons of drugs and other things thrown at you, like you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this. And bodybuilders, as we are all aware, are the most smart and educated and healthy people in the fitness industry. So what they do, you should obviously listen. But just because your bodybuilder has his own pre-workout brand and he's promoting it all the time doesn't mean you're going to get big like him. The only thing that's going to get you big like those top 1% is needles. If you're trying to last a long time in the fitness industry and just enjoy moving and feeling better, steer clear of pre-workouts, of energy drinks, of all those poisonous toxins created in a lab and thrown in your body. That's dangerous. I wouldn't go down that road. Granted, they're very easy, but like we've discussed, there's better forms of pre-workout. Now, I'm going to go into my favorite Bible verse, or one of my favorites, 1 Thessalonians 5:21, and that is, test all things and hold true to what is good. Now, what I mean by that is everything you've heard today, test it, research it, go into detail. That's what I'm doing. I've been told astronomical different stories and different things that I should be putting in my body for pre-workout. And I go, hold on, I'm going to test it. And this is me putting together all my research for you guys, but I encourage you to test it. And whenever you hear a claim, whenever you're told to do something in regards to your body, see if it's true. Do some research. Go the extra mile. I think it'll treat you guys so much better in life and make you a healthier, smarter person, an athlete. And I hope you guys apply that to your life in all things. Now, love you guys. God bless. Hope you learned something from this video. Until next time.